Hi guys, this is Pestillion and welcome to another Escape from Tarkov video. Today I'm going to cover all the new trades that have been added to the game over the last, say, 48 hours. And just go into some of them in more detail, the ones that really stand out. And just quickly skim over the majority of them. I'll give you access to the spreadsheet that I use to keeping track of all the trades within the game. And I'll quickly go over all the newest ones with a link to the Reddit post that lists all the ones that have been added recently. So without further adu, let's crack straight into it. So first up for Rapport, for 2 spark plugs, we've got a PSO. This is a really interesting one because so originally you weren't able to get a PSO until unlocking it through a task. Now you can actually just straight up trade for one using 2 spark plugs from Rapport 1. An interesting trade. That being said, you still won't be able to put one on a SKS unless it's got a dovetail. But in saying that, from Skier 1, you can now actually trade for a dovetail for 1 chainlet. So it's kind of straight off the bat, you'll be able to get an SKS from a SCAV, the OP SKS that is, and then be able to trade chainlet, a couple of spark plugs, and then chuck it on, and you've got your full basic setup for a OP SKS with a PSO. So while we're on the topic of Skier, they've also added the Tactical Tool 10,000 just for a horse statue. I'm not really sure if this is all mostly just to give reason to the game to have all these other items in it and giving you plenty of options, but it's still a cool thing that you could actually put on new mounts, also effectively new scopes from doing a few trades. Now, this works really well with most people in their hardcore accounts because originally they wouldn't be able to get a Tactical Tool. Yeah, this is cool. So moving on to Therapist. Now these are some pretty cool trades that I've come across. For 2 matches you get a painkiller, and for 1 duct tape, that being the white duct tape, you get a car med kit. Early game, this is amazing. So if you're struggling to get some sort of meds, you find duct tape practically through all the Goshen and is it Nation or National in the middle of interchange. Plenty of places you can get these items and trade them for car med kits, as well as matches are just pretty much everywhere throughout any sort of hardware kind of areas. So that's pretty cool in itself. From Therapist 2, you can now get a pistol case for 2 ophthalmo scopes. I'm going to give you a list of all the rooms that you can get these scopes. There's a couple of really common spots, and you should be able to farm these pretty quickly. Then going over to Skier 3 for 15 ophthalmo scopes. I hope I'm saying it right. You can get yourself an eye case. Pretty nifty little thing. Then for 12 H2Os, 12 nulls, and 4 ibuprofens, you get yourself a key tool from Therapist 3. So these are some massive trades that have been added to the game. Really skewed for helping people out if they're doing a hardcore kind of challenge, but also it can get quite difficult to farm up either a lot of euros or to farm a key tool from the marked room. So it kind of pushes away from farming marked room and gives people other options to get these items. Now, probably a really handy one that most people have, might have skipped past, but for Mechanic 2, you can now get a 50 round mag for an MP5 for a PSU. This has been always a big issue with the gunsmith task for Mechanic, because you normally have to get Mechanic 3 to get the 50 round mag. So this is going to be a little bit handy for that. The next major one is for 5 gunpowder, you'll be able to get yourself an ammo case. They have upped the spawns of gunpowder. I haven't really noticed much of an up in the spawn of gunpowder. I didn't find any today in 8 hours of playing it. I was looking at a lot of filing cabinets, duffel bags, and stuff like that. And I did go to generic a fair few times. Not exactly sure what or by what magnitude they upped it, but you can trade now for an ammo case. I think it's interesting that they added the Rotor 43 5.56 silencer for the strike smokes, but that's kind of the easy silencer to get because you can get it from the Scav Boss on customs, whereas the 7.62 one is kind of the more difficult one to get. So I thought that was interesting that they added the 5.56 but not the 7.62. Now the big, massive, holy mother load of weapon cases, the thick weapon case. As you can tell, it is quite considerably bigger. It's 1 box wider, and it's 5 deeper or longer. So you'll be able to get plenty of extra space in the. It only takes up the exact same original space, which is pretty cool. But it does cost 35 bitcoins. Now, if you need a guide for farming bitcoins, I'll put in the link below. That's my Bitcoin farming guide. It pretty much shows you the main locations and where you get the keys for those in Shoreline. I do anticipate there's going to be a lot of people farming Bitcoins now because of this, but at the same time, it's kind of like if you're trying to min-max your stash. Like, I wouldn't be just farming the thick weapon cases unless you're like really like capping out your standard edition stash. If you've got an Edge of Darkness stash and you're filling it up, I think you're a bit of a hoarder. Maybe you just want some for the lulz, but I couldn't imagine someone needing a mass amount of thick cases during an Edge of Darkness edition stash. Now moving on to Ragman, they've added some new visors for trades from Ragman level 1, as well as the 6P47 helmet for some bleach. The big ones start coming in at Ragman level 2. You'll be able to get yourself an Untar helmet for the 5 AFG, well, the goggles effectively. But the cool one is they've made it so the blue UN armor, you can trade 3 fully broken ones for a brand new one. Now hopefully this will start breaking up the amount of excess armors on Fence. I think this is pretty cool, but I think they almost need to do this for all armors, like trade 3 fully broken ones for a new one. I'd actually kind of like that idea. As well as that, the Alpha Rig for 7 duct tape, 2 alkali. Not a massive one. I think it'll be handy to have, but it's not like a game-breaking kind of trade. And then, so if you've got some excess paper or matches, you can trade them for Comtacs or the GSSs. Pretty cool little trades there. Next, moving on to Ragman 3, you've got the M2 rig for the 4-round glasses and the 3 Colpack visors. I think this is like amazingly easy to get. Colpacks I've been finding visors for all over the shop, as well as now you can actually just trade them for a chainlet. And then you get some round glasses. They're actually quite common as well. So also get the Gen 4 armor for 2 clocks now, which is pretty cool. Last new trade that they added that's worth noting is the Attack 2 backpack for 3 sugars and 3 stories. Now, overall, I think all these trades are pretty cool. It's adding more options to the game, so you don't actually also have to spam like your levels. Try to get level 40 nice and quick just so you get access to some of these items. You'll be able to get them a little bit earlier and be able to play around with them. If you try and do a bit of a hardcore challenge, or even you just want to just run in there and just go to the areas in the game that aren't as filled with players. So you could go to the villages and search the duffel bags and the jackets and try and find some of those items and then trade around and get some cool items. I really like this idea. It kind of pushes away from just going to the main like focal point areas of maps, and it actually makes the game more versatile in map selection and where you can go. So I'm going to finish this one up here. If you guys have any ideas on what you think works really well with all these new traits, I did skip a couple of them. I just tried to stick to the more pertinent ones. There will be a link below for the Reddit post, as well as my spreadsheet and what I use for all the for the trades. If you want to farm Bitcoins, there's also a guide link down below. I stream on Twitch 6 days a week, so go down there, give me a follow on Twitch if you have any questions about any of these trades. And lastly, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe for future content, and I'll see you next time.